What story shall be sung today? One can never know how the melody might sound. Our adventurers have already begun to pluck the strings of their story, and their combined composition is unfolding like a road before us.
As we finished talking about the magical items we wanted from Tulistan and his magical emporium, Issa and I noticed a red-haired woman named Shala, who had a mark on her neck that I recognized as a symbol for someone who is from the 8th Pocket, also known as Father's Den. And when I spoke with her about helping us into the Pocket, she resoundingly agreed to help when I explained myself and the other fated fates needed to get down there to find and re-kill the resurrected Verano. Once Shala gave us safe passage into Father's Den, we once again headed past the blacklights. We all started to hear a voice in our head, the poetic and eerie speaking of a being known as the Wraithmire, a malevolent spirit born of a tragic event, bent on feeding off of the fear and guilt of its victim. It affected all of us but Finley, showing me an image of my late father and mother, Codex a vision of Arathia with her family on a leash, Issa a distorted image of herself and the bard she could have been had she not lied and hid things from the people she loved, Wash his late mother, his father turned blood dog and a leader of the Falso Ivories, a man named Rickard. Terrence saw two things: Dominic, the man who used to date his mother Estella and who abused them both, whom Terrence killed with his prototype serums, and then another unnamed man carrying a burlap sack with orange glowing mushrooms in them. Finley chucked a firebolt at the Wraithmire, dispelling the spirit from us. We were all mostly okay, except for Terrence. As we talked about what he saw, Terrence began to cry and explain his vision. Terrence was inconsolable about his actions resulting in the death of this man. Terrence explained that when Verano first hired him to make the serums, they never worked, as if Terrence still needed one more ingredient. It was then, in the echo chamber, he found this man who was selling chuckle caps, a potent upper the man apparently acquired from the Grove. Terrence didn't have the money for it though, and with Verano threatening him and his mother if the serums were not delivered in time, Terrence killed the unnamed man past the blacklights to use the chuckle caps as the last ingredient in the serum, which ultimately made them work. Finley, Codex, and I tried to calm Terrence down and told him that his past actions did not have to define who he was today. We had all made choices we were not proud of, but fixing them and moving on was what made us better than the people we were before. We eventually found an abandoned smithy that we decided to make camp at for a rest. I stayed up with Terrence first just to make sure he was doing alright before we received a sending stone call from Ezra through V2. Ezra said that the D'Amatas were returning from the Russet Waste soon and had been in talks with him, Sham, and Maud about planning to infiltrate the Onyx Obscurity. Ezra explained he wouldn't be going since Arathia would probably target him. With the help of Maud and Sham to restore his memories a bit, Ezra remembered that Arathia had begun to make an adventuring party of her own. He was part of it, as well as that Kuzon character Connie and Maud knew, as well as that friend of his named Taran they also knew. Loretta, Sham's sister, and then two people Terrence and I knew, Kylos, Terrence's late father back from the dead apparently, and a woman named Lyra, the leader of the Needles who taught me much of the combat, espionage, and stealthiness that I know today. As much as the family of blood, their use of Verano and the Blood Dogs, and everything else they have up their sleeves, this cemented one thing. If she is or isn't the mother figure, Arathia had to be taken down. If we weren't already headed to this doghouse with Verano, I'd be marching into the Onyx Obscurity right now.